And that is really critical at this time. We need everybody with the mildest of symptoms or who's deemed to be a close contact to come forward and get tested. And we're really pleased that that's occurred, nearly 40,000 people. And out of those 40,000 tests, we had 9 that were local transmissions. 8 out of the 9 were all directly linked to the Northern Beaches, to the Avalon cluster. The 9th one could actually be a false positive or an old infection, and so Health has not ruled out the possibility that it could actually be a false positive, and obviously that's under investigation, and Dr Chunt will be able to give a bit more detail about that. The other bit of encouragement is that out of those 8 that were directly linked to the Avalon cluster, 6 are household contacts, so 6 out of those 8 actually lived in the same household from someone who had the virus, and that the other 2 are deemed to be close contacts to a venue where the disease was transmitted. Having said that, there are still concerns about the CBD and still concerns about people within the Northern Beaches who may unintentionally have spread the virus without knowing they have it. And for that reason, the next 3 days, so from Monday the 27th of December to the 30th of December at midnight, we're going to revert back to what occurred before Christmas, with one exception. So if you're in the Northern Beaches, in the northern part of the Northern Beaches, you revert back to the stay-at-home provisions, except for the fact that you can have an outside gathering of up to 5 people for recreation or exercise purposes, and that'll be until midnight on the 30th of December. In the southern part of the Northern Beaches, again, we revert back to the stay-at-home provisions, but you can have an outdoor gathering of 10 people for recreation or for exercise reasons, but we don't want any people outside the household coming into households for the next 3 days. What our strategy is to nip this in the bud as soon as we can, to make sure that we do the hard yards now, so that we can have normality as soon as we can. For Greater Sydney, we again revert back to what happened, what was the case on the 23rd of December. So go back to no more than 10 people in your household, and everything else is the same. Again, our strategy is to make sure we nip this in the bud as soon as we can, that we get on top of it as soon as we can, and of course in the next few days we'll let the community know what New Year's Eve looks like for people on the Northern Beaches, but also Greater Sydney, and also what January looks like in the Northern Beaches and for the rest of Sydney. So we want to thank everybody for your cooperation. We were very pleased this morning to see that people listened to our instructions regarding CBD shopping. Thank you to everybody for your cooperation. Those that did turn up were wearing masks, and obviously the number of people was substantially reduced, and we're deeply grateful for that. We know to date that the strategy we have in place is working, and I just want to really thank everybody for trying so hard and working so hard during what is often a time of year when all of us are coming together. So the message strongly is, please maintain the vigilance. Northern Beaches community, thank you for your patience, but we are reverting back to what you experienced on the 23rd of December. So stay-at-home provisions still exist. However, the one exception is, in the northern part of the Northern Beaches, you can have an outside gathering of 5, and in the southern part, you can have an outside gathering of 10. But I want to stress again, this means no movement to people inside the Northern Beaches. If you're in Greater Sydney, do not go to the Northern Beaches. If you're in the northern part of the Northern Beaches, do not go unless you absolutely have to outside of your zone. And similarly, if you're in the southern part of the Northern Beaches, don't go outside of your zone unless you absolutely have to. All of us in Greater Sydney should be reducing our activity where possible, not undertaking activity unless we absolutely have to. And of course, the restrictions or the lack thereof in regional New South Wales are the same. So regional New South Wales doesn't change at all. Again, a big thanks to everybody. We are making good inroads, but we want to make sure we get on top of this in as short as time as possible. And we will let the community know in the next couple of days what New Year's Eve looks like, and then obviously what the first couple of weeks of January look like.